So today, June 2nd, 2020, we've celebrated Pentecost and we enter now back into ordinary time. We resume where we picked up right before Lent, and so we ended with the 8th week of ordinary time, and so we begin the 9th week of ordinary time. Now remember, year A, our Sunday readings, and many of our readings throughout the ordinary time period are going to come from Matthew. However, during this 9th week of ordinary time, we have a continuous reading all 5 days from Mark. And so today's gospel comes from the 12th chapter of St. Mark, verses 13 to 17. And they sent to him some of the Pharisees and some of the Herodians to entrap him in his talk. And they came and said to him, "Teacher, we know that you are true and care for no man, for you do not regard the position of men, but truly teach the way of God. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay them, or should we not?" But knowing their hypocrisy, he said to them, "Why put me to the test? Bring me a coin, and let me look at it." And they brought one. And he said to them, "Whose likeness and inscription is this?" They said to him, "Caesar's." Jesus said to them, "Then render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." And they were all amazed at him. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. So, looking at this Gospel, it's rather interesting to see the Lord kind of taking these questions or trying to entrap him and get him to say something that will either have the Romans upset, that he's trying to overthrow the rule of the Romans who are occupying Jerusalem and the Holy Land, or to say something about the image that is on that coin and committing some heresy against the belief of the Jews. Now, remember why this image is on a coin. What did the Romans think about the emperor? They thought that he was divine, right? That he was one in which could be worshipped. So this was something that was rather odious to the Jews, right? They didn't like this at all, because to use those coins, they couldn't even use those coins in the temple because it bore this image, right? And so they thought that the money with Caesar's picture on it in the inscription that makes him divine, right, was an offense, or would be using idolatry. It would be an act of idolatry. But notice Christ's answer. He says, "Whose image and inscription is on it?" And they say it's Caesar's. Because render to Caesar what is Caesar's, right? If this coin is used by the Roman governor, right, then render to him, if you have that money, render to him those taxes, right? And the church has always believed that legitimate taxes, as long as it's not stealing from the people, and I'm not going to get into that today about U.S. tax law and whether it's moral or not, but when it comes to taxes, yes, a civil government, right, can lay down laws that we legitimately must follow. But then consider, if he asks this question another way, what in creation bears the image and inscription or the likeness of God? You and me. Right? That within our own lives, we're made in the image and likeness of God. We bear God's image and inscription on our whole person. So if we render to Caesar what is Caesar's, but then we must render to God what is God's. So our whole lives must be rendered not as an offering, not as a material offering to the local government, but as a spiritual offering, the offering of our lives to God. It's a return to him what he has given us. And since he has provided all to us, then we must then render back unto him what he has given. A very quick and brief explanation of the gospel. Hopefully you find this helpful, and you might be able, when you go to your prayer today, to be able to say to the Lord, "Lord, I desire to hold nothing back. I want to render my whole life to you, and give me the grace that I might be able to complete that."